Could I ask you a question?
Shoot.
Hey, can I ask you a question?
Can I ask you a question?
What?
All right, so first question. This is a tough one. Who are you?
Oh, okay. Well, I'm going to call my lifeline on this one. I think if it comes down to purpose, it is finding something and leaving it better than what you found it.
If you could give one piece of advice to yourself when starting out, what would it be?
It isn't just about me.
All right, welcome back to the Massive Passive Income Show. I'm Jason.
And I'm Colter.
And we are excited to be here.
Yeah, we're going to have a different show today.
Kind of a Q&A type thing.
Yeah, our editor and chief video guy, this creator has created some questions, and I'm curious as to what he has come up with. So apparently Jason gets to drill me with questions first. So
sounds good.
Best of luck to me.
Yeah, and I haven't seen these questions at all, and neither's Colter, so he's just going to spring them on us. So here's the envelope. Let's see. All right. Should we do 5 then, or you want to do all 10? See how far we go? All right, so first question. This is a tough one. Who are you?
Oh, okay. Well, I'm going to call my lifeline on this one.
Can I call in a friend?
Yeah, can I?
I need some help defining who I am. That's where we bring the spouse in.
Yeah, here we go. So I'm Colter Hansen, and grew up in western Wyoming, Star Valley, Wyoming to be specific. Married, I have 4 daughters, and
what are their ages?
This year they're going to be 12, 10, 8, and then we have a 7-month-old.
Nice.
So
a little bit of a spread there, 8 and...
Yeah, between the 8 and not quite 1. So
not quite 1. I've got the same spread on our 18-year-old, he's 19 now, and our 11-year-old. So yeah.
Yeah, they are just they're the joy of life. Spending time with them. That's why we work so hard, and making sure that I'm able to provide for them. So I'm a family man. I love working. When it comes to working, I like to work smart, and investing is a part of how that working smart works for me. I'm a CPA. I got my master's in accounting, so I went and got the full-blown education through your traditional education methods. But at the end of the day, who am I? I love Jesus Christ is a huge part of my life, and it's part of the principles that I help bring into our family, as does my wife, and our beliefs are very important to us. And at the end of the day, I'm just a guy that wants to do good for those who are closest to me, and also for those that are around me.
You're a guy sitting at a table being interviewed on a podcast?
On a podcast, yeah. With this random question of who are you? Why do you dig into the core of your belief systems and make sure that you display to the world exactly who you are?
All right, well, good answers. All right, so we're ready for number 2?
Ready for number 2.
What is the meaning of life?
Oh, man.
Brian, you're killing us here.
Where did we come from? Why are we here? And where are we going?
Where are you going? The meaning of life.
I think if it comes down to purpose, it is finding something and leaving it better than what you found it.
Well, scout.
And
right?
Yeah, be prepared. Yeah. Leave the campsite better than what you found it. But I think honestly, whether it's our life in general, or if it's any opportunity of being able to create an impact, it is improving whatever state that started at, and being able to take it to even just a degree better than what you found it. And I think about that in regards to my kids' lives. These girls that the good Lord has given me, if I can help them improve and increase in knowledge and understanding of the things that matter, I think that health and wealth and relationships are the trifecta of things that we should be focused on.
Yeah.
And, from a health standpoint, if I'm not healthy, then it makes it difficult for me to work on my wealth or, on being able to create an income that provides for my family. And it's hard for me to be present with my family if I can't go in the backyard and, play volleyball or, what have you, or go in the front driveway and shoot the basketball.
It's hard to be your best when you're not healthy.
It's hard to be my best if I'm not
it
healthy.
really is. For your family, for yourself, for your spouse.
Yeah. So improving myself so that I can help impact and improve others, I think is really, when it comes to the purpose of life or the meaning of life, it is improving what I am today so that I can be better tomorrow, so that I can then improve on that yet again.
Awesome. All right. Number 3, what is your favorite thing about real estate?
My favorite thing about real estate, I think early on I thought it was going to be because it was passive income and the money would just show up. And I won't lie, I love mailbox money and money that comes month after month after month. And I think the concept of that is what first attracted me to it. If I get down to like the nerdy nitty gritty of why I like real estate, it is the one asset class that I can borrow against the majority of the value, put a minimum amount of money down, and somebody else will pay for it. So instead of me having to go and work to pay off that asset every single day, I can work in chunks of time that are strategic. I can pick up property and I can create that passive income stream. But then instead of having to pay for 100% of the asset, I pay for 20% of the asset with money that I've earned from other methods or other property. Mm-hmm. The other 80% is borrowed. And now the opportunity is in 10, 20, 30 years, that asset will be paid for because of a smart strategic move that I made today.
So leveraging other people's money, leveraging other people's time, leveraging other people's, I love that. Just leverage. That is a good reason why real estate's awesome. Yeah.
It's a product that everyone needs.
Yeah.
And, I've invested
since humans began.
Since the dawn of time. Yeah. People have needed food, water, and shelter.
Yeah.
And the one thing that I've decided I'm not that interested in just because I haven't been is food.
Yeah, food industries.
Restaurants, like some people have a knack for it and like they are fantastic at it. And congratulations to them. But the flipping burgers and the process or, creating smoothies or doing a drink factory, or like a soda factory. Yeah. That's not me. From a water standpoint, we've invested in a company that produces water wells and pumps and, those systems circulating around that. And then from a shelter standpoint, real estate, whether that comes from a residential standpoint, a commercial standpoint, you name it, like we've invested in those avenues. So water and shelter are the places where, of these essentials, I feel like that has been my focus. And so leveraging in that and allowing for, these assets to be paid for by the businesses and by the folks that need a place to live or work, this allows for them to pay for themselves.
Love it. It's a great answer. All right. Number 4, what is your favorite thing about people?
So business is about relationships. It comes down to that. If you don't treat people right, you're going to lose in business. My favorite thing about people is that if you can't relate with anyone, if you can't come to terms with what somebody is looking for, and I say this in from a transactional standpoint, getting to know a person is one thing. Understanding what it is that they're looking for and providing value, whether there's a value in return, it comes and it ebbs and it flows. Mm-hmm. It doesn't just happen of like, hey, you know what? I give this person an hour's worth of my time. I get an hour's worth of their time, or I get, X dollar amount every single time. It's providing an emotional connection and allowing for you to connect with that person on a personal level, a professional level, a spiritual level, what have you, is that finding the common interests is such a dynamic thing that we all come from such different backgrounds. And so for me pinpointing it to one thing would have to come down to is that there's just such a variety of opportunity to get to know somebody from so many different perspectives, because they either have, 10, 20, 100 years worth of experience that you can tap into if you'll just simply listen.
Yeah.
And give yourself the opportunity to get to know that individual and why they've become the person that they are today. And then if there's some way that I can create, a commonality that allows for us to grow together, that's meaningful to me.
Love that. People, to me, are fascinating. They fascinate me. Because somebody's at their spot they're at, 40 years old, 45 years old, the marriage they're in, the kids they have, the job that they've got. I'm fascinated by what got them there. What situations, what experiences molded them and moved them in the direction of what they do for a living, where they're living, where they're raising their kids, how many kids they have, the person they're married to. I mean, all that, it fascinates me. Mm-hmm. Whenever I sit and talk with anybody, I'm just fascinated by, okay, why is this person at Maverick today? What's he do for a living? What's he, how many kids has he got? How long has he been married? Is he divorced? Has he lost a kid, or has he lost a spouse? Are his parents still alive? All that type of stuff, because every experience in our life makes us who we are. And experiences molds us. It really is all about, whether it's good experiences, bad experiences, situations, that makes us who we are today. A good friend of mine's sister, which she's a good friend of mine too, but she's a littler sister. So her boyfriend died yesterday, and crazy thing. And she lost her husband 3-4 years ago. Finally found somebody she really likes. They started dating, and then he ends up passing away yesterday. And I talked to her brother on the phone, and just fascinating, like why her got married, has 4 kids, husband dies, just on a fluke disease deal that he had, and now she's found somebody else, and then he ends up dying.
Wow.
I know. Yeah. It's, and so her story, that's going to shape who she is for the rest of her life.
Sure. Because
of those 2 situations. So yeah, people fascinate me. They, I'm not as fascinated as I am with people that fascinate me, but my life's pretty boring. But and where I'm at, I didn't move very far. I moved about a block from where I was raised, built a house, and I've pretty much been there my whole life. So, but yeah, I love that. I love your perspective on people.
But you've done a lot of things in that meantime of
sure,
moving from one block to the next.
You're right. My wife and I always talk about we've lived a couple lifetimes in our 24 years of marriage.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's we've done more and experienced a lot in our 24 years.
Yeah, you have.
I mean, but maybe other people have done the same, but it just seems like we've been through a lot. All right, number 5. If you could give one piece of advice to yourself when starting out, what would it be?
It isn't just about me. It isn't just about Colter winning, Colter succeeding, Colter making the buck. It isn't just about me.
That's a tough one.
It is.
It is.
It is a tough one.
So say more, because that's I think even still today, as a 50-year-old, sometimes I'm like, it's, I think it's about me, but it's not.
No, so I think about that, and there's a book, and I don't remember what the name of the book is right now, but it basically talks about the stages of, a young man to becoming a man to becoming, a wise man. And there's 2 stages in there that stick out to me specifically, and one is cowboy and one is sage. And the cowboy is kind of like, I've got it figured out. I'm running. I'm going to do it fast and hard and win and grow. And
I'm never going to get hurt.
I'm never going to get hurt.
I'm never going to lose.
I can ride every bull and it can kick me off and it doesn't matter. Right?
Yep.
And so I think
Live
about
forever.
this like cowboy to sage, and the stages of life that come kind of in the beginning or prior to that and to the end. And early on, before the cowboy stages, I'm learning, I'm growing, I'm young. I know that I don't know enough, so I rely on mom and dad and grandma and grandpa and aunts and uncles and, maybe a brother or sister. As a cowboy, we feel like we've got it figured out and the world is our oyster, right?
Yeah.
And then in between the cowboy and the sage is we start to be humbled of like, no, you don't got it all. You have stuff to learn. You're going to have some wins here and some losses there. And it's going to suck here and it's going to be really positive in other places.
Yeah.
And I think as I've worked from that cowboy stage and working toward a more of a sage mentality is identifying why I feel like I'm focused on the things that I am and the impact that I'm going to make, and also why I focus the time that I do in the places that I do. And in the last 2 years, one of the phrases that I've grasped onto is the opportunity of a lifetime comes around but once a week.
Yeah.
It isn't about the number of opportunities that we have because they are abundant. It is about selecting the right ones.
And through experience, the deal of a lifetime doesn't have to be $1 million deal.
Absolutely.
It could be that moment with your child, that moment with your kid, that moment with a friend who's feeling low. That could be the chance of a lifetime. That could be that moment.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, keep going.
No, you took the words out of my mouth because we are looking for moments that will pivot us to the place we're supposed to be in 10 years.
Yeah.
So my decision from the conversation that we have today could say, Colter, you have a pivot to make. And so instead of me taking a variety of 1,000 paths that I could potentially take, I'm going to take this one that will connect me with a person in the next hour or in the next decade or the rest of my life.
Yeah.
It will put me on a path that will allow for me to connect with a person that is meaningful to the overall path.
Love
and so the opportunity of a lifetime exists right now. It exists right now in the decisions that I make, in the things that I look for, in the piece of property that I'm looking for. And it could be that property makes me $100 a month until it makes me $1 million in a decade.
Yeah.
Or it could be, I had a conversation with somebody today that was considering suicide and they stick around for another decade because of a conversation I had today. And I was present in the moment and allowed for myself to give of hopefully some sage advice because of all of this experience that happened between my youth and the cowboy stage and who I am between then and now.
And I think recognizing that comes through maturity. Because when you're young, it's always about the cowboy. It's all about me. It's all about winning. It's all about never going to lose, always going to win, never going to get hurt. But through maturity, you look at the opportunity of a lifetime differently. Mm-hmm. Because back then, opportunity of a lifetime was like, I'm looking for that $1 million deal. I'm looking for that $100,000 payout. I'm looking for that, that fast, easy money. And now I'm looking for the opportunities to be present for somebody that I love, that I care about, that to make an impact,
Yeah, and that it takes other people to help you on that journey to get to where you're trying to. I mean, if I want success in my relationships, I have to focus on relationships. If I want success from a health standpoint, I have to focus on my health. And if I want success in finances, I have to make 100 phone calls in order to get to 10 potential leads, in order to close a couple of deals that allow for me to continue to make an income in real estate.
I remember the first time my wife said, "It's not about you." I got so mad. I'm like, "What are you talking about? I'm not making it about me." And I just made it about me by saying that. That's the irony behind it. And I went on like, "What are you talking about? It's not about me. I never do anything about me. It's always about." I immediately turned it right about me, and it took me a while to realize, because I'm a fix-it guy. Most guys are. You want to just fix it quick, Fix it. And we don't want to be blamed for something. So we're like, hey, I didn't say it that way. I didn't do it that way. That's not what I meant. And, with my kids, I'm like, they say, oh, that's not what I was talking about. Hey, I'm sorry I missed that. And you don't care about it. Yeah, sure I do. It's so funny how through maturity, and I don't want to say I'm some mature person, but 25 years of being married, you learn a few things.
Yeah.
So I love that. It's not about you. So that's perfect. All right, next one. What do people get wrong? I guess it doesn't matter what number it is. But next question. What do people get wrong about real estate?
That it's easy. That it just happens because you will it too.
How do people get that idea that it's easy? Because they can flip a house in a 30-minute episode on cable?
Yeah. What is it, Home and Garden or whatever? I mean,
well, Martha Stewart's got real estate. Hey, anybody can do it, right?
I think what people get wrong about real estate is really that it's just going to happen because they thought one day that they wanted to own real estate, right? When you think about it, it is not just an easy shoe-in, right? You have to go through the process, and just like anything that is worth having in life, it takes work to get there.
Yeah.
And so when I think about what's easy or what's hard in real estate, the hardest thing is getting past the mindset of spending $200,000, $300,000, $500,000 on a piece of property.
Yeah,
it is.
That's a tough one.
It is right here that prevents the most people from investing in real estate.
Yeah.
And I think coming to peace with the mindset and finding clarity in the reason why they are putting money into real estate. Because if you're going to buy a $500,000 property, you have to take $100,000 of your hard-earned money or your hard-earned relationships to allow for you to put $100,000 down on a traditional $500,000 transaction.
I love how you phrase that. Either your money or it's somebody you've invested in a relationship that's going to give you the money.
Yeah.
Because I think they're both worth the same. Whether it's your $100,000 you earned or whether you've earned that relationship with somebody to give you $100,000, I think it's just as risky either way.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to ruin that relationship either.
Yeah, every dollar that I have earned or I have borrowed, I treat those dollars the exact same. I treat my money like my money, and I treat other people's money like it's my money, because that allows for me to make sure that it comes back.
Yeah.
And it gets paid back, and it gets paid back with interest, because every dollar I invest has to have some sort of return.
Yeah.
So when it comes down to easy or hard is finding the process that works for a person that says, I am at peace with making this decision over and over and over and over again, right? I haven't bought 30 properties in the last 8 months because it just was handed to me, right? It has taken hours and hours and hours of analysis and connection and shaking hands and saying I can do this and coming up with dollars and finding dollars that allow for me to close transactions. But if you think about one transaction, it says I have to do the same analysis, I have to make offers, I have to get an accepted offer, I have to get inspections, appraisals, and then I have to go to closing. And then I have to start making sure that I'm paying the bills on behalf of the property. I have to, make sure that I get renters in there. I have to sell it on the back end if it's a flip. All of those things have to happen. And the process is scientific, in my opinion.
Yeah.
It is repeatable over and over and over again. But getting rid of the mindset of I can't do it and saying, yes, I can, and then going and getting it done, that's the biggest barrier that people have to get over.
Love that. All right, last question. Why should anybody listen to Colter Hansen?
That's a great question. I don't have an answer for that.
No, that's okay.
At the end of the day, we all, why would somebody listen to Colter? Look, I'm comfortable and happy with where I am in life. And I think the key to happiness is being satisfied with where we are, but not settling for where we are.
And I like that.
And so being happy with where I am, and introducing the idea for somebody that strives for, having a portfolio of real estate, having some passive income coming in, having a couple of businesses that pay on a consistent basis that are growing, and having 50 some odd employees that work for me. At the end of the day, I am happy with who I get to work with every single day. I enjoy what I do. I love my family. I love, from a spiritual standpoint, who I am. And but also, I'm not satisfied with stopping at today where Colter is.
Yeah.
And so if somebody's in a growth mindset, or they want to learn from the woes and the challenges that Colter has gone through, I mean, I've lost hundreds of thousands of dollars on different deals, but I've also gained and won hundreds of thousands of dollars over here.
Yeah.
And that experience has cost me in dollars and cents over here, but it's won me experiences and a mindset that allows for me to go and win time and time and time again on the future opportunities.
Love that. Love that. Well, I think this is a great episode. I learned a couple things about you. Most of it I knew already or assumed, probably. But no, that's great. That's great.
Yeah. Well, thanks for the questions. That was,
that was Ryan that wrote them up, but I just had to ask them. But no, they're good. I think it makes me, those questions I ask, it makes me reflect on, what's my meaning? Who am I? Just like what you were doing when you were talking, I was thinking myself through the same thing. And I think it's good to self-reflect, and I think it's good for our listeners to know a little bit about Colter Hansen. So thanks for tuning in.
Yeah. Thanks, Chase.